Christian masculinity.
If you want to be a good father, then bring your children to confession with you.
I can't get there unless I become a man of ascesis, a man of asceticism, a man of training.
A man not doing penance, a man not disciplined.
He's not a man.
You guys have upped your game.
You know what, guys? I gotta say, I love the concept.
What?
Well, you could have just unmuted.
You could have
them
unmuted them without stopping it. Well, you could have just hit the record button.
Started recording them. We hadn't even said anything yet. So now we got to start over.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not going to be.
It's not going to be.
You got to have it synced up with.
It's not going to be synced.
Yeah.
Will you help him, please? Just help him.
No, it's okay. I just get here. Well, no.
Click on the black. In the black of
you
that.
guys, I know. I'm sorry.
And then hit the reset.
Juan is doing okay. He thought he was helping to make sure, but it ended up.
I would have rather you done this than done nothing.
Yes, me too. So, I will up your pay $1 an hour.
You're going to actually pay him $1 an hour? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you.
Ooh, that's actually true. No, percentage. 1%.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like,
I apologize.
Wow. You just gave him an infinite % raise.
Yeah. I just want to apologize. All right, Juan. Here we go. Oh. Wait, is that going to be okay?
Nope.
No. Juan, start over. You guys just thought that we were going to be going, but we're not going yet. So I was okay. The third time is a charm. So I was telling
Yes, I know. I know what you did.
David knows what he did. So I was telling Dave ahead of time. Oh, we're ready?
We're ready.
I'm not going to tell the story then. I was going to give you guys a really riveting story.
Riveting.
However,
like a rivet machine.
You guys are not going to get it this time.
Today, I am here to give you the assurance that
I
have
not forgotten you.
If we want to see
Marco says, "Great show, guys."
More than just jargon. If we want to see it grow legs,
this is what I tune in for right here.
We have got to take seriously our responsibilities as husbands
Juan,
and fathers,
I think
and
you should
especially as sons
turn
of
track
God.
2 on as well.
I want to propose to you then
There you go.
that something that our world is desperately in need of in the midst of this crisis is Catholic Christian masculinity.
If you want to be a good father, then bring your children to confession with you.
I can't get there unless I become a man of ascesis, a man of asceticism, a man of training.
A man not doing penance, a man not disciplined is not a man.
You guys have Nobody knows what he is.
Your game. You know what, guys? I gotta say, I love the concept of Man Show.
Boom.
Warning. The Catholic Man Show is about to begin.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass.
Raise them up.
Adam Minahan.
Raise them up.
Sitting here with my best bud, David Niles, with Juan on the keys. If you're listening live, you got an opportunity. What an opportunity for you to listen to our intro twice, to really get excited.
What a blessing. What a blessing, really.
To get excited about the show.
Yeah.
That is what you had the opportunity to do. Dave, I'm pumped about this week. This is going to be a crazy week for us.
I also am very excited about this week.
I'm excited yet...
Get to go to Phoenix.
Yes. So on Wednesday morning, we're going to give a talk to the St. Bernard's men's group.
Very early.
Very early.
At a manly early hour.
So I'm flying back to Tulsa on Tuesday at hopefully let's pray. Everybody say a
God
prayer.
willing.
That my plane arrives back into Tulsa at 10:30 at night, and then at 5 o'clock. Is it 5 or 5:30?
5:30.
At 5:30 in the morning, we're giving a talk to the St. Bernard's Men's Group. Is the talk on friendship? Yes.
Friendship,
discipleship.
In the context of discipleship.
Okay, so we're giving that talk, and then on Thursday we head out to one of my favorite dioceses outside of the Diocese of Tulsa and Eastern Oklahoma, which is the Diocese of Phoenix, with Bishop Thomas Olmsted.
Theonics.
Yeah, Theonics. We're gonna get a chance. Juan is gonna be going with us. We're gonna go to the Phoenix.
El Juan.
El Juan will be going with us. We'll be going to the Phoenix Men's Conference. This is our 4th time to go there, which I'm super pumped about. Like, I'm so thankful that they're willing to have us to be a part of the conference.
Me too.
We're gonna get a chance to interview Bishop Olmsted. We're gonna get a chance to talk to Father John Hollowell. I'm hoping that we get a chance to interview with him.
I am sure that we will.
And Father John Parks. I really want to interview Father John Parks while we're there.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on the show somehow. That would be hard to do because he doesn't. I don't know if he travels. I don't know if he does that sort of stuff.
So most of those interviews are going to be available to our Patreon members only. We're not going to make them episode. It'll be interviews for our Patreon members. You can go to Patreon and look up the Catholic Man Show and become a patron and get those interviews. So I'm really excited about that. Also, we're leaving a day early so we get a chance to go play golf in Phoenix in February.
We have some extra work to do. Just really checking some of the landscaping. We're doing, you could say, a grass audit of a specific selection of the Phoenix area.
Yes.
Going to be auditing some of the terrain, the turf,
which will be fun.
Yeah,
I'm really
through different methods.
I think it'll be fun to see how well our golf game is in February. I went to Top Golf this last weekend and tried my swing out.
I saw the video you sent me. I don't think you were swinging hard enough. That's
the problem. I wasn't swinging
If
hard
you
enough.
watch the pros, they kill it.
Right. They
Okay, so if you want to be like the pros, you have to swing like as hard as you can. I've seen them.
Right.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Right.
Be like them.
So anyway, I'm really excited about doing that. And then we have, right after that, we have the Oklahoma Men's Conference. Oklahoma Men's Conference, and then we're going to. I mean, we have a list of places that we're going to be going soon.
The Oklahoma Men. I know that people might not think like, oh, Oklahoma Men's Conference. Oklahoma is not exactly known as a Catholic place, but let me just tell you, after traveling around the country, only a little bit, but like seen a good handful of other conferences, the Oklahoma Men's Conference is top notch.
It is. And there's like 1,100, 1,200 guys that show up for the Oklahoma Men's Conference, which is really good.
It's a sellout. It's a sellout crowd.
Yes. So I'm really excited about that as well. Today we're going to be drinking Stranahan's.
But not just any Stranahan's.
This is from
where'd it
Juan.
Go?
Right here.
Yeah, but we had another one.
It's down here.
Okay.
I'm bringing it up in here in just a second. So Stranahan's, dude, listen to this. So here's how Stranahan's started. There was a volunteer firefighter who answered the call that there was a barn on fire, so he went to go help. And it turns out the guy's barn was Mr. Stranahan. Don't remember his first name, but and he is a beer and whiskey connoisseur.
Gotcha.
And they started talking after they put out the fire. Big point. After they put out the fire.
Yeah. Okay. Just a regular barn, not like a whiskey barn.
No, not a whiskey barn. Just a barn.
Regular barn stuff.
And they started talking and realized they had whiskey in common. They really enjoyed it, and so they're the ones who started Stranahan's.
Oh, he was the owner of Flying Dog, the beer connoisseur.
Oh, the beer connoisseur was the owner of Flying Dog as well. That's what Juan just told us.
Oh.
So I wasn't aware of that. So anyway, Juan went up to Colorado about a year ago. Picked up this bottle of Stranahan's. It's cask strength. We've done a bottle of Stranahan's before a while back ago, but this one is cask strength, so it's 109.9 proof. So it's going to be strong. One of the good things about Stranahan's new bottles is that one of their signatures is they have this little the tin on top. However, it's now
unscrew.
Because
you used to have to take like a grinder. I have literally seen videos of people with this thing in a vise, unable to pull the cap off. And so like having to literally grind the top off so that they could drink the whiskey.
Yeah, and there were some people who would grab, because sometimes it was stuck on there really good, sometimes it wasn't. They would grab this silver top, lift it,
and it would break.
And it would fall out. So they got smart and put a screw on there.
I like it.
So I'll let you open it, Dave, and I'll let you pour them. The cool thing about Stranahan's, I got you one, Juan.
We'll pour Juan's glass first, since
the cool thing about Stranahan's is that Stranahan's was one of the first like 50 whiskeys that we tried on the show, and we actually have a bottle that I have not opened yet. It's from one of the distillers from Stranahan's, and he made it specifically for us. Yeah, I'll put it on my camera. And it says on the label, it says, warning, contains high levels of manliness. So he made it just for us, for the Catholic Man Show.
Pretty epic.
It's really cool. So anyway, it says warning, contains high levels of manliness. It's it's not the cask strength. It's just the regular Stranahan's. It's not opened. I probably will not open it for, I don't know when I would open it. But
they sent one to both of us, and I didn't have the patience that you did, so I drank mine a long time ago.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus. Do you think the color is any different in this
compared to the other Stranahan's?
Yeah.
No, I think it's very similar.
You can always tell on the nose if it's cask strength. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a strong smell, but you get a lot of the malted barley right immediately. Totally. Is what I. What are those tasting notes say?
So these are from whiskey.net. These are community tasting notes.
Okay.
So on the nose they're saying malt, cooked fruit, peach, allspice, and honey.
Okay. I get the sweetness. I don't know if I necessarily get the peach.
I'm trying to get even the honey. I'm not.
I do get a sugar.
I don't get allspice. But
Okay. So it's very aggressive. If you like rye whiskey, I think you would like this as well.
Yeah, this isn't a rye, but
it's not a rye, but it's very aggressive.
Yeah. It's definitely in a rye vein.
Yes. Well, I mean, and it's very strong. I mean, it's 109 proof, so it's going to be strong.
Yeah, it's hot. It's kind of got a hot flavor, not spicy.
The finish is not very long. I thought it would be longer for a cask.
I swished it all around my mouth, and mine's really lasting a lot longer.
Okay, well maybe that's just my fault, but it doesn't seem like that there was near as long of a finish as what I thought there would be.
Yeah, well we'll have to see. Let me see.
Let's see. It says, let's see on here. It says this bottle of Stranahan's Rocky Mountain Single Malt was hand selected by Master Distiller Rob Diedrich. Every barrel is unique and yields a one-of-a-kind cask strength whiskey. It is Staff Single Barrel number 13.
Number 13. Lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13.
Not that we believe in luck here on the Catholic Man Show, but all the same.
I do like that.
We do believe in significant numbers. Hey, Juan, what's the price tag on this?
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s.
Only get it in the distillery. Kind of makes it even more special.
Okay. There's other whiskeys that they have out, like the sherry cask. They have a sherry cask that's come out. They have the regular, and they also have a single barrel, but it's not cask strength, that is available outside of the distillery.
Yeah, available at distribution.
At distribution. So this is really nice. It'll be interesting to see how it shapes up.
Let's keep trying it.
All right, we'll be right back.
I don't think it has a short finish, but I think it mellows down a little bit.
It does mellow out.
I think the finish is pretty regular. It's got a regular finish.
Are they able to hear you? Like, I think they may be able to hear you.
They can hear him through our microphone.
Oh, that's it?
I added him that one time, but I didn't save the template.
Okay.
You can.
I think it's
You
good.
can add yourself if you want one.
Okay, but how can you hear it through the microphone?
They're just
Well, just our microphones.
Oh, okay.
Here, I don't think we'll be in Texas this year that I can recall.
not on if. Yeah, I mean, not anything official.
Right. So if you want us to,
I mean, you're in Texas frequently, but not.
I am,
But you're on actual business.
and not Catholic Man Show
Yeah.
business. I'll actually be in Houston here pretty soon, and I will be in Dallas within the next month. So
So if anybody wants to, never mind. It's Exodus 90. I was gonna say if anybody
Grab
wants
a
to buy
drink.
Adam a drink,
all right. If you want to buy me a bottle though for the show,
yeah, and just give it to me and, let me just
give
take
to
it
me
home
and let me bring it home
on a handshake and a thank you.
I would be willing.
I'll be happy to give you those handshake and a thank you, and a shout out on the show, no doubt.
Yes.
The owner of Flying Dog was a partner, and then they used to use the barley that was left over from the beer to make
Stranahans?
Stranahans at the beginning.
Nice.
And the other guy, the firefighter, was a moonshiner.
He was a shiner. Like he did shine. He was a shiner.
Yeah.
And that's why he.
Not a Shriner.
Not a Shriner.
A
Shiner.
much different thing.
Yes.
Shiners are much better people.
So yeah, the story goes that when he saved the barn, he gave him a couple of barrels, and since he made the shine, he aged it in the barrel, and then he was like,
This is really good.
to him, and he's like,
Nice.
oh, that's really good. Let's go into business together.
Nice. I didn't know that part.
Because he's probably like, I have money, you have talent.
Let's
put the
combo it up.
What do you say, bro?
The maker knew that to sweeten the deal, he was like, and we'll call it Stranahans. That was his other last name.
His last name.
I think it's George Stranahan or something like that.
Yeah, Stranahan's is better than George's.
Yeah. Mario, we'd love to come back to Chicago at some point. Hopefully we can.
Yeah.
We were there for the Courage Conference last year, which was really great.
I
But
try to stay out of that town unless it's there for a really good reason.
it's tough to fly out of there.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like really everybody knows that.
Right.
Don't fly through Chicago.
It's tough.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
But yeah, invite us out. We'd love to. Would love to come. Okay, let's keep going. Juan.
El Don Juan. You know what I found out? President Trump, his name is Don John. He's Donald John Trump. He's Don Juan. It's hilarious. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't just go by the Don. You know what I mean? Like, seems like something he might do. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles. Here with Adam Minahan and Juan Posada in the house. One thing we didn't mention about this whiskey, here on the tasting notes in this website that I pulled up.
Sure.
On the taste, one of the tasting notes on the tongue, digestive biscuits. Just figured I'd throw that out there.
I don't even know.
I don't know what a digestive biscuit is.
Nor do
Maybe I should know. Maybe I'm missing something in my life.
I feel like you're not. I feel like that it's better to not know.
Yeah. But anyway, that is one of the tasting notes.
Okay. How's Exodus 90 going for you so far?
Not bad. What is it, like day 12, day 10?
Yeah, 12, 13.
Somewhere in there, yeah. I'm trying to think. I think I have got my minimum 20 minutes of prayer in every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think a couple times I have still failed to do my examination of conscience.
At the end of the night?
Not on purpose.
Right.
I just forget to do it.
Right. Dude, I've lost a lot of weight.
I've lost 6 pounds.
I've lost 8.
Have you?
Since I started, yes.
Well, you need to eat.
Well, yeah.
During meal times only.
Only, right.
Only.
Right.
So what's your go-to so far for what discipline are you relaxing on Sundays?
So the first Sunday was TV, but that wasn't necessarily my choice. It was that I was going over to my parents' house, and I just knew that everybody was going to be watching the TV.
That is hard.
And so I didn't necessarily...
Because it's like, if the TV's on, that's one thing, but if everybody's sitting down to watch it...
Yeah, and they were watching a football game, which...
You're forced into it.
I was interested in the football game.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it wasn't like that would have been what I would have chosen for that Sunday.
Yeah.
So the first Sunday I did the TV. The second, this Sunday, I did... I went to American Solera and got a couple of beers.
Nice.
Which have been very nice.
Last Sunday I did alcohol. But then I realized that's a bad choice. I can actually go without that. What I can't go without is like brownies.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And the Lord has seen fit to show this to me, that he has put so much in my life lately. Like, not just any cookies. I'm talking like Merritt's Bakery cookies, and just all of this just fantastic looking stuff. And it's like, yeah, I didn't realize how I like dessert.
Right.
I like it.
One of the benefits has definitely been I've been killing it reading. I've been knocking out books that I've been wanting
I have been reading less. I have less time for reading.
Oh, really?
Because
I've been reading way more.
Because one thing I'll do is read in adoration, and now my time in adoration is more filled up in just silent meditation. So I'm losing 20 minutes in adoration.
I'm doing it at night after I put the kids down.
See, what I'm doing is, because I have adoration chapel basically across the street from my office, I'm trying to get to work. I swing by the adoration chapel before work, which is really nice. Anyway, let's talk about our man gear.
Okay, before we do, can I just...
If it's quick,
it's
Adam,
very quick.
I'll allow it. That's
so
fine.
one of the books that I've been hitting on is The Peepster, which I can't suggest him enough. Joseph Pieper.
Yeah.
And this small little book by Ignatius. It's a brief reader on the...
A lot of his books are concise,
very readable,
easy, approachable. Even though sometimes he's a little heady, but at least it's not a tome.
So this book is called a brief reader on the virtues of the human heart. Let me just read you the first sentence of this book.
Okay.
Tell me if you like this or you dislike it.
Is it poetic? He is a poetic writer.
Just tell me if you like this.
Yeah, sorry.
Virtue is the utmost of what man can be. It is the realization of the human capacity of being. That is the first sentence of his book.
I like it.
Is that not epic? Like, to me,
it is the utmost of what man can be. I mean, by definition, it is, because virtue is the power of man. So if you have power, it must be virtue. If it's not a virtue, it's not actually a power that you have.
And it's a realization of the human capacity of being.
Yeah.
It was like, bam. That if you had to start a book with one sentence, that is on virtue. That is a sweet.
That one's pretty solid. There was one I found in the Four Cardinal Virtues. That was like, it was poetic, deep, philosophical. I mean, it was this deep philosophical sentence just wrapped in the beauty of poetry. It's like, when I read it, I said, that is a perfect sentence.
I've been reading John Senior as well, The Restoration of Christian Culture.
Yeah.
And we're going to be having Scott Hambrick on pretty soon to talk about that, John Senior, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah,
as well.
His qualities and some of his shortcomings, maybe, who knows? But
yeah, and what Father Bethel thinks of John Senior. Because he read Father Bethel's really, I mean, it's like 400 and some odd page book.
Yeah, I have that book. I just bought it.
You did?
Well, I bought it at the camp out.
Oh, you did?
I haven't read it yet.
Well, it's like a 400 page book, and it's...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when I bought it out, I don't remember thinking that's a big book, but it's not a small book.
And it's a tough read, is what I've heard.
Okay.
But anyway,
good.
I
like hard things.
We can get.
I'm a man. So here's the man gear for today.
This is a gear that I think is not a good man gear.
That's an inside joke. Okay.
This is a gear that I proposed.
What might look like just
2 years ago, and Dave said, "No, that's a stupid gear."
Yeah, I did say that.
And here we are.
I'm not sure I used those words. Okay, but it was early on, and I think that I was saying, like, there's other more obvious, like, actual gear, things you might wear. accoutrement of a man. However, this is awesome. Are you satisfied, Adam, with that? Are you satisfied?
If you're watching the YouTube video, I think they'd be aware.
Are you satisfied?
Sure.
Because I want to make sure you're satisfied before we keep going.
Very, very.
Okay. Inside are a lot of things.
Wait,
you can't see.
It's a canister?
I said it might look like a silver canister, but you were too busy going on with your prideful self over there. Okay?
Sorry. Through my fault.
Very grievously of you. Okay, so inside it's a travel holy kit. I forget exactly what it's called. Look, there's stuff inside. Inside, holy water, crucifix, salt,
exercise salt,
oil. Well, when you get it, it won't be blessed because you cannot sell blessed items.
Okay, what he did was he sent that as a gift to us.
He gave this to us,
okay.
and so the ones he gave to us, he had exercised.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But there is oil,
salt, oil,
a rosary, and then a bunch of these.
That they need to know what these are.
Oh, right. These are Benedictine medals and miraculous medals. Yes. A lot of those. And then there's also instructions on here on how to make sure you get everything blessed, how to use sacramentals, all the sacramentals appropriately. But what we do, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. What we do is we keep this in our suitcase. We just leave it in there so that when we go to pack,
it's already there.
It's already in the suitcase because I have just some holy water that I got on like a keychain, and I said, "Oh, this would be great for traveling," because I've got holy water at home, but I always forget to take it with me.
Yeah, and this is from CatholicSacramentals.org.
CatholicSacramentals.org. Phenomenal website.
And they are blessed already.
These are blessed. He put this these cans were for like a separate fundraiser that he put together.
Okay.
But the ones he sells on his website, the contents will not be blessed.
Okay.
And so it's just perfect. There are other things. The Catholic Woodworker has another kind of traveling kit like this. But whenever he goes to like a hotel, the first thing he does is find a place to hang the crucifix, set up like a little prayer altar. There's plenty of room in this can to put some other stuff if you wanted to.
Sure.
Like some candles or maybe another statue. So it's just great to have because when you travel, it's so easy to get out of your routine of prayer.
That's the truth, man.
It's like it happens to me almost every time I travel, where it's like because I'm such a routine guy.
Right.
And so if I'm not going through that routine, it all falls apart. My whole life falls apart. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a perfect canister that has basically all the sacramentals that you need.
Right.
In a very compact.
And right now, if you go to his homepage, it's there on the homepage.
CatholicSacramentals.org.
CatholicSacramentals.org. Also, just check out his other website. Everything that he has on there, it's run by a buddy of ours. Everything that he has is heirloom quality. Like if you order something from his website, it will be exquisite.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because
I bought the Summa from him.
Yeah, in that like 5-volume set with that's very like scrolly and awesome.
One of the things about when I do travel is this is why I like this thing is because like you said you get out of rhythm.
Yeah.
And in my house it's very easy to orient myself back towards God because we have a lot of art, we have a lot of crucifixes all over the place.
Right, and your pray-to's right there at the foot of your bed.
Right.
When you see it, and it's like, oh, I need to pray. And for me, as soon as I walk out of my room, there's my little oratory.
Right.
So I can't forget about it. Yeah.
This provides that reminder to make sure that like no, I need to be praying. I need to make sure. Also, it's just really good to be blessing wherever you are with holy water.
Right, because like let's be honest, you don't. In your hotel room, it might not actually be like that holy of a place. Okay, you don't know what's been going on in that room, like the day even earlier when you got there. So throw in a little exercise salt around the joint. Not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna hurt.
It's great for a guy who's traveling.
Totally.
Who travels a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be taking that, and I'll also be taking my little altar set from Catholic woodworkers as well when I'm traveling.
Nice.
So when we get back, we're going to talk about Catholic spirituality.
Part
again,
2.
Based off of everybody's request.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was all moving around. You see my head? I was like
That's some good head action you got going on there.
I was like moving and slipping and jiving.
Can you move just your head and not your shoulders?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Gosh, I bet everybody's making fun of us now.
It's kind of hard to do.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's just move on.
You were just tottering back and forth. I'm talking about like.
Well, that's not what you asked. You just said, "Can you move your head without your shoulders?" Which I was doing.
Yeah, but if you had looked at me,
which I rarely do,
you would have known.
That's impressive. All right, let's keep going. One. What's up, Ollie? We're doing well. I owe you probably an email, so it's on my mind. I need to get it to you. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Sipping a little bit of Stranahan's Single Barrel Cask Strength, brought to you by Juan Posada. Just got done talking about a little sacramental canister. What do you call it? Is that an appropriate?
It's called a travel kit.
Okay.
I had it pulled up on my phone earlier.
CatholicSacramentals.org.
But I cleared it away unintentionally.
Okay.
That's something I did.
One of the episodes that we did recently was on Catholic spirituality.
3 episodes ago, I think.
And we had a lot of great feedback from it. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, oh, it was a good episode, but we had people ask for more, so
what we decided to do is, well, we'll
do a couple more, because there were a couple that we didn't get to that I wanted to get to.
Right. And so we're just expanding on the Catholic spirituality that we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We did. Remind us what we did.
Okay, so yeah, if it might be a good idea if you didn't hear the other one to go back and listen to it 3 episodes ago. We did Benedictine, Franciscan, Dominican, and Ignatian. I like to say Ignatian spirituality, not Jesuit spirituality, for obvious reasons.
And you made the claim that you thought most people would prefer Ignatian spirituality.
Whether or not you inherently have an Ignatian spirituality, the spiritual exercises, which essentially wraps all of that, is kind of what Ignatian spirituality is. It brings all of those facets together, is designed for everybody.
See, I think that if I was going back and I was discerning a vocation and I decided, like, I'm going to discern the priesthood of some sort.
Yeah.
I would definitely see how I would react to a very rigid, structured day, like the Benedictines at Clear Creek Monastery, where it's very structured, very rigid, prayer, work, prayer, work, prayer, work.
Yeah. And
just see how I would react to that, because I think that I'd like almost romanticize about it, like, oh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know exactly how I would feel.
Just so manly, just praying and working.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly how I would feel on day 3 of doing this.
Right, or day 30.
Right, I'm not sure. So it'd be interesting to see how that would play out, but it's attractive to me from the outset.
When we were in Clear Creek in October for the camp out, one day we got out of Mass and I was walking back to the campsite, and there was this monk outside in his habit, and I have on a coat, my snow boots. I mean, it was cold. It was very cold. And
wet.
Yeah, it was very, very wet. And I look over and there's a monk in kind of a jacket in Birkenstocks with no socks.
Wow.
Outside working. Just working.
Way harder than me.
No it's
deal.
nothing. Just working.
Wow.
No socks on. It was freezing in Birkenstocks. And that's when I realized I'm a wimp.
Yeah.
Like, I am a wimp.
What are the 4 that you want to do?
Okay.
Today. So we did those 4 last time.
I don't want to give away the ending. So not that there is like a big ending, but let's just go through them one at a time.
Okay. Fair enough.
So one of the ones we mentioned last time that we didn't actually get to cover was as a Carmelite spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did shout out the Frank Friar, Father Nicholas.
Yeah.
A great follow on Twitter, Facebook, and whatever for more Carmelite spirituality.
Yeah. And so Carmelite spirituality is kind of difficult to tie down because in the beginning of the order, they were hermits living in a cave. And then at some point, they left the cave and came out into the cities and became a teaching. They were teachers. They were highly educated teachers. And then at some point, they went back to being cloistered. So it's like, what is a Carmelite spirituality? Because the order has changed over time. So the Carmelite order is really one of reform. And so I think that most people would identify Carmelite spirituality with the works of St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of Avila, and St. Therese of Lisieux. Thank you for that correct pronunciation.
Yes.
Especially St. John of the Cross. I mean, and St. Teresa. I mean, it's hard to say that one of them is bigger than the other, more influential. But to me, The Dark Night of the Soul is
a book by St. John of the Cross.
It's a book by St. John of the Cross, and it's tough to get more powerful than that. I mean, that one resonated for me more than some of the works of St. Teresa of Avila. That's just me.
Have you read the Interior Castles or anything?
Yeah, Interior Castle, I was all excited about reading it. Did not actually do much for me. And it may have been a book that just I wasn't ready for, like I will read it again someday.
Sure.
And probably get a lot out of it. But when I read it the first time, I didn't get much out of it.
So part of one of the
and just for the record, I'm alone on that. I mean,
yeah, you're the minority.
I don't want to discourage someone from reading it because it is a work of spiritual depth. I know.
Right.
I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it.
Either part of that book or another book she wrote was called Way of Prayer, and it was just a part of that book that ended up becoming its own little book. And it was basically on the Our Father, how to meditate on the Our Father.
Interesting.
That book, like if you just look up The Way of Prayer by Teresa of Avila, that book really changed the game for me on the Our Father. And I think Haley's been reading it slowly, and it's one of those books that you can read very, very slowly and get a lot out of.
Yeah. So
she sorry to interrupt, but she said, like, I don't know how people can meditate past just the words Our Father. She would like start the Our Father.
St. Teresa of Avila.
Yeah, she would start the Our Father and not be able to get past the 2 words of Our Father.
Right. Yeah. Hours later, she's still pondering that deep mystery,
Our
which
Father
is actually mind blowing.
Right. It's like, wow.
That God.
I'm so far away from being able to do that.
Yeah. So are we. So am I. I mean, I have a mouse in my pocket. So the motto of the Carmelite order is Zelo zelaris sum pro Domino Deo exercitum, which of course means with zeal I have been zealous for the Lord, God of hosts. So with the Carmelite spirituality, you got to ask yourself: do you feel the attachment of do you feel like the attachments of day-to-day life get in the way of your relationship with Christ? Do you feel called to live a life of asceticism? Do the writings of St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila speak to you in a special way?
It's a very prayerful spirituality.
It is. And so I think maybe the defining characteristic of the Carmelites is the interior journey. So St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila both write profoundly on the point how God exists within you. And you don't need to go out into the exterior world like the Franciscans do. Let's just compare and contrast. The Franciscans are kind of known for being in nature, being out in the world. By contrast, the Carmelites are cloistered typically and go interiorly to find themselves. I mean, St. Teresa of Avila even named the book The Interior Castle. So it's an inward journey where they find God residing in the soul.
Okay.
There are some, I think, dangers to doing that by yourself. You can end up in like a New Age movement. I mean, because the New Age movement, they do that. They go interiorly, but they end up seeing themselves as God. So, as a Catholic, you'll be fine if you're doing it on Catholic terms. You know what I'm saying? They meditate on the Word of God, liturgy, silence, and solitude, asceticism. These are all things. Carmelite spirituality proposes silence and solitude as necessary prerequisites for prayer and contemplation. And it's not only exterior silence, but interior silence as well, which is why solitude is so important. They put an emphasis on seeing suffering as part of God's plan for your own sanctification. So that can be very easily seen in The Dark Night of the Soul. That was the book that when I read it, I realized I shouldn't be afraid of the Dark Night. The Dark Night is actually...
It's a progress.
Count yourself lucky if it's something that you're experiencing. And I know, like, if you're in it right now, you don't feel lucky,
right.
you know, but it is a sign of God's love being poured out upon you, that he's sought to purify. He's chosen you so special to purify you in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, St. Therese of Lisieux was a Carmelite.
Lisieux.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
So the next one I want to get to, we can just broach the topic here, is Opus Dei. I did not know this, but Opus Dei is not even officially Opus Dei. Opus Dei is their motto, the work of God. Officially, they are the Prelature of the Holy Cross. That's the name of the order. Who knew?
Not I.
And they don't really seem to care to correct anybody on that point.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but Opus Dei is their motto. They do go by Opus Dei, so it's like it's kind of like they have a doing business as title. You know what I'm saying?
And that was by Jose Maria Escrivá.
Escrivá.
He was like
he invented Twitter before Twitter.
He was like the meme. He was like the meme writer before memes were even a thing.
Right. Yeah. He's just like, hey guys, you're gonna want this someday.
You know, I just finished Cardinal Sarah's book, The Power of Silence. Is it what silence? What's the silence?
Power of Silence.
Power of Silence. And he writes very similar to Jose Maria Escrivá in that book, like where it's just like little chunks, little tidbits, like here's a number and this thought, and here's a number and this thought, and I love like reading that from Jose Maria Escrivá, and
it gives you some. It's easy to meditate on.
Great for adoration, and great for like as you're working through the day, you just want to take a moment to pray or like to reorient your mind.
Open it up.
Open it up. Read a little.
Pull out something random. Yeah.
Three sentences, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, getting back into it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll keep going.
We're on the Lord's team.
Winning side.
So raise your glass.
I gave you the 5 so you know this.
Dude, you went like this. You go. That's what you did.
No, I went sideways.
And what it looked.
Because I went like this, and I realized, hold on, they can't see my hand. Then I went like this.
When I saw you, I looked over at you, and you went. What I saw was 4, 5, 3, and I was like, I have no idea what he's trying to tell us.
4 minutes and 53 seconds.
I was like,
obviously,
I have no idea what Juan's doing.
I would give you more than 2 minutes because you were still in the same one. I was like, if you want to get into another one.
Yeah.
I just wasn't really sure what you were doing.
Yeah.
I thought you were giving me. I thought I was supposed to steal home.
The thing is, Adam,
I didn't.
You pick how many minutes there are left.
Right. I didn't know if it was a baseball signal.
I mean, how many minutes do you identify with there being? It's that kind of world.
Next time you're just going to go like this.
Infinity?
No, keep going.
Wrap it up.
Oh, you see, that's very confusing. I'm not sure.
I know what that means.
Infinity is more like this.
Yeah, that's true. That's not a bad infinity, really.
Yeah.
It got worse. It actually got worse as you kept going, but...
All right, let me see if there's any questions.
But you started
Let's
off,
just keep
the
going.
way you started off impressed me. I'll say that.
I don't think there's any questions. We can just keep going.
Señor Paul II was a lay Carmelite.
Who?
Saint John Paul II. He was a late Carmelite.
Oh, no, really? No
Yeah,
kidding.
you know, like that's why you see him in the. There's a picture of him like in the plant. I forget what kind of plant it was, like a mining plant or something. And he has no shirt on. He has the brown scapular on. And he always wore the brown scapular. Even yeah.
Oh man, I should have mentioned the brown scapular. We can mention that when we come back.
You already went to the Opus Dei. We've already passed.
Just be like, oh, we forgot brown scapular.
We did that last episode. We talked about it last episode.
Okay, good. That's fine.
And we've done a whole man gear on the brown scapular.
That's true. Even though, yeah, actually we did 2, because we had to do a correction.
Yes.
That's French. I basically speak French.
I was getting tired of him pronouncing le sur wrong.
Is that good? How was that?
Better.
Nailed it.
Yeah, much better.
Actually, perfect.
Yeah. Better than me.
You do speak French. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan. We're talking about different Catholic spiritualities. Why does it matter? Well, God gave us all different gifts. Some of those different gifts are to be used in different ways. And the thing about God is that he's so great. There are many ways of approaching him, many ways of appreciating his creation, of which we are a part. He's laid out a specific path for all of us to follow. We all have different paths, and because of that, we have different gifts in order to walk that path the way Christ desires, which means that we all are going to have a different way of approaching him. That's one of the things that he said to the little flower. The reason why he made us all different is to add to the beauty of God's creation, okay? So some of us are big roses, some of us are little flowers. And so different spiritualities are a natural outpouring of the variety and beauty of God's creation. If we were all the same, it wouldn't be as beautiful. But he made it people as numerous as the flowers of the field. So we're talking about some of the different spiritualities today. Maybe you can find one that you identify with, and if you can, that can maybe help your prayer life, help the way you approach holiness, sanctity. So it's just good to have a good grasp of some of these things. And you might not say, oh, I fit into one, but you might actually say, oh, I take some of this from that one, and I like the way this one does this over here. It's okay to take pieces and parts from all of these and put them together. So
I'm really glad you started out that way. That was really good.
Thank you.
Ultimately, let me sum up.
Please.
Ultimately, it was like, how do we get closer to Jesus?
Yes, I love it. When you do research on all of these, they all pose it like, look, what really makes a Carmelite spirituality is prayer. Oh, prayer. That's what makes you different from everybody else.
Right.
You know, so like they all are basically 99% the same. You know,
the answer is Jesus.
Jesus is the answer for all of them. But, you know, how do you find Jesus? So anyway, there's different ways, different strokes for different folks.
Not that all of them are correct.
No, but we're all talking about correct ones. We're only talking about correct ones.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because we're only talking about Catholic spiritualities.
There you go.
Yeah. So we were talking about the Opus Dei. It's actually a newer organization that has been founded. It's not an official religious order. I forget the actual title, but it's a little bit different. So for the Opus Dei, you have to ask yourself, are you convinced that holiness is found in boardrooms and lunchrooms, as well as chapels and churches? And if so, consider the Opus Dei. So the Opus Dei, where the real spirituality is about taking your work, your daily tasks, and using them as your path to sanctity. Like if you are a teacher, then your teaching, your work, this is the work that God has given you, and so you should offer it up as a way of being sanctified, and that you not only get sanctified through your work, but you sanctify your work through this process. It's one of those orders, like when you hear it, you're like, yes, I should do that, but I should do better at that, and I'm attracted towards that, but I just am terrible at it. Me too, dude. Me too. I
don't want to like make a cold call for Jesus.
Right, exactly.
You know, like I don't like cold calls.
Yeah, it's like there's no way Jesus really. Fine. He probably does. He probably wants me to make a whole lot of them actually. And
right. But like I can't. It's hard for me to take things that I'm doing in the secular world and apply them. Like, no, this is for like I'm offering this up for Jesus.
Yeah.
For my family.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this particular on here, the stuff I'm getting from on the Opus Dei is from the same article I pulled the last stuff from the last episode on, which is escaping me at the moment. But maybe it's First Things, maybe not. Maybe it's something else. I don't remember actually, but it's from that same article. So there are 3 points to Opus Dei spirituality. First is that they stress integrating the secular into one's spiritual life. Rather than seeing everyday life as a problem to be overcome, it's part and parcel of where we sanctify ourselves. Second is an emphasis on work as a whole range of activities, and they see that as the path to sanctity. And third is that they strongly stress the reality of being sons and daughters of God, to give an optimistic and positive tone to love. God really does love us and is concerned about each of us. Okay, so Opus Dei is the work of God. The work you're given is the work you're to be doing. So for the next spirituality, Adam, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to read the phrase to you, the motto.
Okay.
You can tell. I want you to guess what it is.
Okay.
Stat crux dom volt vitur orbis.
Okay, in English?
The cross is steady while the world is turning.
That's Francis de Sales.
No.
No?
So the questions you got to ask yourself for this spirituality.
I thought that was
No.
Okay. Go
Do
ahead.
you experience clinically diagnosable levels of introvertedness? Do you struggle to remember the last time another person was actually inside your home? Is what others would call crushing loneliness your idea of a good vacation? If so, then a Carthusian spirituality might be for you. That, of course, is just a joke. I made all of that stuff up. Well, that is actually the Carthusian motto that I just read, but we're not going to talk about Carthusians today. They're hermits, and they just live all by themselves, so it's just a joke. They're incredibly holy people. In fact, I think Father Donovan told me a story that one day at the Great Chartreuse in France, where the mother house is, they were doing this construction project. One thing about Carthusians is that they're buried in unmarked graves.
Right.
So people, it's been around for like 1,000 years. They don't know where people were buried 800 years ago. So they were doing this construction project, and they were digging, and they kept digging up all these incorrupt bodies that they had no record of people ever being buried here because they did it a long time ago before there were records. And it's like they asked the abbot, and he said, like, yes, well, this is the natural result of the religious life. This should be the result of religion. I mean, yes, of course, supreme holiness, incorruptness, like he wasn't shocked. But they had to cancel the construction project because they realized we can't build something here. There's it's a graveyard. There's all these saints buried, and if we keep digging them up, we might find more, and we shouldn't do that. So,
wow.
The Carthusians, incredibly holy people. However, probably not your spirituality, unless, of course, the things I just read's like, yes,
I do not like people.
I do experience clinically diagnosable levels of introvertedness. So the next one I want to talk about is the Silesians, named after Francis de Sales. Okay, so this is a little confusing because the Silesian order was founded by St. John Bosco, but he founded it in honor of St. Francis de Sales.
Okay.
Okay, so the Silesian...
St. John Bosco was a man who did not care about how other people felt about his thoughts.
A lot of saints are that way.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Like, if you read some of St. John Bosco, he has some strong opinions about things.
Yes, and we are running out of time, so we got to really get through this.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The Silesians order themselves, they do a lot of teaching, but they do pull a lot of their writings or their spirituality from St. Francis de Sales, obviously. So their motto is Da mihi animas caetera tolle, which means give me souls, take away the rest. Pretty good motto, I think. So you ask yourself, are you a people person who experiences God most in acts of gentleness, compassion, and optimism? The Silesians were founded by St. John Bosco, as I said, and they're very, very similar in many ways to Opus Dei in that they find and take the ordinary things of life and seek to sanctify them. Except one difference is that they do it with an outward. They put an emphasis on an outward disposition of humility, gentleness, civility, and optimism. So they would never do anything by force, almost like a pacifist.
Okay.
Their way is love, never by force.
Intro to the Devout Life is the bomb. If you need a spiritual director and you can't find
just
one,
the other day.
Yeah, if you need a spiritual director, you can't find one. Read Intro to the Devout Life.
Yeah, and then read it again, and then read it again.
It's a yearly read.
So they would say that humility, living in self-truth about who we are, both positive and negative, that's humility. And humility leads us to gentleness towards our neighbor, because one is so aware of his or her own needs and weaknesses that one extends to another person similar understanding and compassion. Civility and respect must be the mark and behavior of a truly gentle, devout Christian. And because we have a Savior, we are always optimistic.
Man, civility and respect, the mark of a true Christian, does not reflect Twitter.
And Catholic Twitter, specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So finally, we have the Vincentians. Vincentians, after Saint Vincent de Paul.
De Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
They don't have a motto because he didn't actually found an order specifically. However, the Missionaries of Charity are founded.
Oh, Mother Teresa's.
No.
Is it? Oh no, that's not Missions of Charity.
No, they're whatever. Not them.
Okay.
Not them. So Vincent of Charity. Think of Labouré, Saint Labouré. The first American-born woman. She founded all the schools.
Catherine Drexel?
No, but anyway. So the motto of the Missionaries of Charity is Caritas Christi Urgent Nos, which means the charity of Christ urges us. So for them, do you feel attraction towards corporal works of mercy, especially works of service for the poor? One thing that we learned from St. Vincent is that he teaches us to see Christ in the poor and suffering, so much so that the poor become our lords and masters, and we their servants. I mean, that's a pretty powerful statement. Vincentian spirituality is centered around this concept. Jesus said, "Whatever you did for the least of my brothers, that you did unto me."
Okay. Is Elizabeth Ann Seton?
Elizabeth Ann Seton, yes.
Thank you, Margot and Kathy.
I knew that someone would come through us. Elizabeth Ann Seton.
So which one do you associate with the most out of those four?
Out of these four, I would say Carmelite. Because I really dig St. John of the Cross.
I want to be more Carmelite because it's more mysticism.
I wear the brown scapular.
Right,
yeah.
me as well. Great job, man.
Thank you.
We'll be in Phoenix soon.
I have a bonus one for us after this episode.
Okay.
We'll keep it going.
Okay. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be right back. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
And are we still recording?
I stopped it and started again.
Okay, our bonus spirituality, Adam. Charismatic.
Like we should make this a whole episode.
It's just gonna be a little bonus. It's gonna be a tidbit.
Okay.
Because I didn't actually research anything about it.
Right.
I just wanted to maybe talk about it.
Okay.
Charismatic spirituality. What do you think?
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that
Yeah, you're totally unprepared for this.
Right. So
it's an unfair question, but on this show, sometimes we like unfair questions.
I agree. I do know that Pope Emeritus Benedict said that there was a place for the charismatic.
He's
a supporter of it. He said that there's a place for the charismatic movement. We've had this conversation before.
Because, you look at the first 200 years of the church, it looks very charismatic.
You and I and Juan have all had this conversation before, and you guys know how I feel about the charismatic movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I have.
You're
I'm
uncertain.
very strong. I have very strong doubts.
Yeah.
About specific parts of the charismatic movement. It does not appeal to me.
So you gotta, let's caveat that. I don't have doubts about charismatic movement is good. What I have doubts about are many of their practices, because what I see is a people, and it's in actually large numbers. The vast majority of charismatics that I encounter appear to be highly uneducated in the things that they're doing. They don't understand authority, and they, I think, risk giving scandal when they do things like put their hands on each other.
Right.
The laying on of hands is a priestly action.
Right.
So and they do it, and as an observer, all I can say is this is my interpretation of why they do it, as if it's making their prayer more powerful,
more efficacious, or
because I'm putting my hand on you.
Now
the power that resides within me, my power, can now flow into, it's like, it's nothing to
do with
you touching him. It doesn't, God, that's not how God works, man.
Right.
Like, you could be praying for him on the other side of the world, and like, it's God who does it.
I would like, I've told you this before, I off air, but I would love to get a charismatic guy, part of the charismatic renewal, on the show to talk about it, and not one that's like so pro that he would not be interested in hearing my arguments.
It'd have to be someone who is an expert, because the average charismatic would say, well, that's the way you do it, and you would say, how do you know? And then they wouldn't have anything to say back.
Right. And I would just have I would love an open conversation about it. Like, I'm
but I didn't actually bring this up to bash them. I brought it up to talk about the spirituality of charismatic movement, because I think inherently it's good.
To be fair, you asked me about it.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about the spirituality. I should have asked you a better question, a more well-phrased question.
I agree with
because you read the writings of Paul, and it's, it just seems like a very charismatic environment, a very charismatic church where the Spirit was alive and moving. And is the Spirit any less alive today? No. I mean, I don't believe that he is. I believe that he works and acts in his church today in just as efficacious of a manner, or he wants to.
Sure.
Maybe we're not open to it, I do think that
maybe it looks different than what it did.
It could look different, sure. But I think that there's all these gifts of the Holy Spirit, these special gifts of the Holy Spirit. Sometimes I wonder, does the Spirit, has he given many, many, many people these gifts that we simply, because of modernity, the noise, the distraction, we're not devoted to prayer in the way that the early church was, that we are just not even paying attention to the still small voice of God. We don't even know it, that the Holy Spirit is trying to give us these incredible gifts.
Well, if you go back to our episode when we talked about nothing superfluous, and we talked about the gifts of the Holy Spirit that are given to us throughout the Mass. That I would definitely was not aware of.
Yeah.
That, and I think probably
at specific gifts
times,
at specific times in the Mass, right?
Right, and I think I would be willing to say most Catholics probably are not aware of that aspect.
Oh, most Catholics that'd be a huge understatement. It's like very, very, very few Catholics know about it.
I mean,
How many Catholics have read that book? That's how many Catholics know about it.
Probably at this point, yeah. I mean, David Biddle and his family.
Yeah, but he's read the book.
Right. But I think that those are the things that are the issues, is that we don't know. We don't even know when we're supposed to be receiving the gifts of the Holy Spirit, or when the gifts of the Holy Spirit are being presented to us.
I just think
outside of the whole the sacramental aspect of confirmation.
One thing that I see in the charismatic movement, even as it exists today, is that I see a people who firmly believe in the power of prayer in a way that I often discredit my own prayers.
That's a valid.
I see them, and
not an argument. That's a valid point.
And they pray, and they absolutely believe that God hears their prayers. Now, sometimes I think they absolutely believe that God will answer their prayer exactly as they have prayed it, and that maybe is going a little too far, but all the same, I think that we all could learn a lot from how much faith are we really putting into our prayer? You know what I mean? And there really is a spirituality in that is beautiful, unique, and doesn't exist in that expression in some of all the other spiritualities we brought up today or on the last episode. So I wanted to throw it in there because it really is something beautiful from that standpoint. And like I said, I didn't want to. I think there are problems with the movement as it exists, but I really value it. I value it,
as there are with a lot of orders.
Yeah, sure.
Big Nation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different. I mean, we are humans, and so
I think that if the charismatic movement, I think it would benefit tremendously from some education.
And to be honest with you, I don't know enough about it to really speak on it, so I hesitate. Like the things that I've talked to you and Juan about off air, are the only things I know about it.
Yeah,
and I'm not educated enough to really give a strong opinion on it. What I've seen and the limited research that I've done on it, I don't like.
Yeah,
but that's not because it's not a good movement. It's because that there are people who maybe distort what the movement is, and I think that I'm not just trying to discredit the Holy Spirit in any way, shape, or form.
No. Oh, no. And I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is only my opinion, that I believe that the movement was influenced very heavily by Protestants who became Catholic, who still really appreciated and missed some of their old Protestant worship services. You know, there's like this some of the Protestant elements that were like very praise and worshipy, and then they brought those elements. They saw an opportunity to bring those, hey, I can be Catholic and still have some of these things that I liked before I was Catholic here in the charismatic movement. And those people, maybe they were new Catholics, I don't know, but they didn't understand the nature of authority. That's the big problems. Every problem I see, every issue with the charismatic movement comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of authority. I say that because you'll hear them say things like, take authority over that sin in your life, or just cast it out, as if you could just do that. There is no way you can take authority over sin. You don't have that authority. Only Jesus Christ has that authority. He gave it to the priesthood. So if you're a priest, that'd be one thing for you to do that. But as a layman, you can't do that. Recently, I heard someone who's a good Catholic, but this is, a big part of his Catholic spirituality is this charismatic renewal. He was talking about, if your wife is sick, take authority over the sickness and cast it out. To me, that is an incredibly dangerous idea. I'd like to actually talk about that with Van Vickel when he comes in, because it does get into the area of spiritual warfare. If you attempt to take authority over something with which you do not have authority over, you are really putting your soul in a very harmful position.
You're opening yourself up for more than what
right,
you're bargaining
because
for.
you're now pretending to be God. You don't have the authority. You are nothing. You are powerless, and you have nothing save that which has been given to you from on high. God alone is powerful. He is the one with the power. You cannot take authority over anything. You have authority over your wife and children and your household, the things inside your household, because God has He has ordained it that way.
Right.
So for you to say, I'm going to take authority over this sickness, what is sickness? Sickness is a fruit of sin.
It'll be interesting to talk about this. Like, this is something we should table for when Dave gets here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I know, but like,
those are the
we
problems.
should have,
I already said the things I like about it, because I really do like some things about
I have a real question for you.
Yeah.
It's the Fourth Crusade. You're going in.
Where am I?
I'm
trying to picture.
You're
it.
about to be heading in.
Am I in?
Vienna.
Am I in Rome? I'm in Vienna. Okay.
You're heading into Vienna.
On a horse, on foot.
Well, listen.
On a four-wheeler. Am I on a four-wheeler?
You have the opportunity to either.
Am I in a tank?
Listen.
Sorry.
You have the option of taking a longsword or a battle axe.
Okay.
Which do you choose?
Can you answer my other questions first?
Well, all of those are null and void.
No. If I'm on a four-wheeler, I'm not taking a battle axe.
Obviously, you're not on a four-wheeler.
Why not?
You're going back in time. You're not getting to.
So you're not saying like if it happened now?
No. You're.
I'm gonna say with David. I thought he was gonna make if it happens right now.
Yeah,
I thought. Why would I give the two options of a two ancient weapons?
Because it's a crusade, and you're doing it
No.
like crusaders do.
No, obviously it's like, okay, well, I'll take a rocket launcher and just blow everybody up. No.
Yeah, well, if you had given me that option, I would have picked it.
Yeah, so you have the option of going into the shield wall.
So we're back in time.
You're back in time. You're going in to the crusade, and you have the option of a longsword or a battle axe going into hand-to-hand combat. Which would you choose?
I have a shield also.
Yes, all soldiers have a shield.
Okay.
I thought in longsword you needed 2 hands.
No, you do not.
But a lot of shields, you could still have a hand. They would be like attached to your forearm.
No, so basically, when you're on a shield wall, typically what you have is you have a shield that is it makes a wall for everybody that you're side by side to everybody, and then you either have a longsword or you always have a dagger. Everybody has a dagger, or you have a battle axe. Those are the two things that you have.
And have I received training in either one of these things?
Dude, you're just like, this is not fun anymore. I'm just asking you a question.
You said you had a real question for me, and I'm trying to give you a real answer.
Which one would you like?
So I'm exactly myself. Going back in time. These are my two options.
A longsword or a battle axe?
No other context for the answer. I would choose a battle axe.
You would choose a battle axe? That is a strong choice, typically, because the people who have less experience in battle would choose a battle axe because it takes less. You don't have to be as good at it.
I just gotta avoid being stabbed, and then I'm probably gonna win. As long as I can get inside the reach of the sword, then it's now I have the advantage.
You have the advantage.
Yeah, just keep the shield on that sword, and then just like boom in the head. Try to avoid the helmet.
I would go for the longsword.
You'd have done the longsword.
You'd die really fast, one. Oh, you'd be dead. You'd probably be dead already. Like since this conversation began, you'd be dead.
If I have a shield, I can attack with a longsword a lot easier.
So I've been reading.
Remember, they also have a shield.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have a shield. So I've been reading about like.
So if you're doing this, then I'm just gonna put my shield up too and be like,
boom. It was a shield wall. You would never do actually this with a longsword. This would be with a spear. You would go over with a spear.
That's totally a spear move. Spear move.
I've been reading. I've been super nerding out on old school war tactics of how this.
And I don't have a horse.
No.
Can I have a horse? Because
No.
I changed my answer if you give me a horse.
No. And so in the shield wall, actually, what the best route to go is not a longsword or a battle axe. If you're actually in the shield wall, you're not, fighting man to man.
Yeah.
It would be a short dagger, because what the short dagger does is while you're low, you can attack the ankles, and then they actually go up to the groin.
Groin? You mean the
groin?
Groin?
Groin.
Yeah. Did you really said groin?
Groin.
Is that how you say it?
No, it's just Oklahoma groin.
I've never heard anybody say that.
It's just what my mom says, and so it's
Yeah.
like washing machine.
Yeah, because your parents are like from Henrietta.
Yeah,
and stuff.
So
that's like Oklahoma.
It's like really funny when I say washing machine and people are.
It's like very legit.
There's no R in
legit
washing machine.
Oklahoma.
But anyway, so you go to the ankles and then up
to the groin. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is how people dominated the shield wall. I didn't know that. I read that recently.
Yeah. And that's when like the people,
dude, that the Last Kingdom is about to come out soon. I think the fourth season's about
that's
to
when
come
people
out.
go like, man, I should have girded my loins.
And we have a whole thing about how to do that.
Because now I'm gonna die in a really terrible way.
All right, people, I can't believe anybody's listening to our conversation. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, washing machine is something that my mom still... Actually, my sister, I think, has finally broken her habit of saying it. It's taken... Kaylin. Kaylin is a stickler for basically everything. And so...
Yeah, she speaks with a like, she speaks Hick. She can do it.
She can do it. Love you all.
So can Holden.
Yes.